Chayin Zochar, which means those that taste the Shabbos. How do you taste the Shabbos? They are privileged to be able to receive life. Now, life is a very positive force. So we know life is living. What about a life of eternity? How can a person get connected to the life of eternity? Eternity. Most people get old and they get old. How can a person live eternally? Okay? That's one part of the story. The other part of the story is there's a pasuk in Mishlei 25:2. Mishlei 25:2. Write it down. You gotta remember. Mishlei 25:2. It says the glory of God is to conceal a thing, but the glory of kings is to search a matter out. The glory of God is to hide. The glory of man or a king, a rabbi, is to search. What is that? The Almighty, we don't see. Where is He? We see Him. We know He's there. And as we get involved with the world, we go with science, and they start looking into the body, they find deeper and deeper things. First they thought what they see is it. And they find there's things called bacteria, and then they find this thing called viruses, and they find there's atoms, and there's between the atoms there's electrons, there's protons, and they find there's all kinds of matter, and they go on and on. They see the galaxies, and they think, well, there's certain stars. They go further, further, they find there's more galaxies, more stars, more galaxies. The Earth is expanding, everything's happening. So as more man knows, he begins to find out, and he finds more secrets out, and he finds out that the glory of God is still there, and deeper and deeper. Whatever they find out, there's still more and more to go. People who are involved today in research, so today in research, everybody has to be an expert in one little field, and they study, they work and study more and more. And as they study, they find there's more and more involved, and more and more involved, and more and more involved. There's no end. There's no end. Because why? The glory of God is to conceal a thing, and then the more you see, you say, wow, what a great God, wow. And the glory of kings, rabbis, is to search the things that. Okay. Now let's look at the story. What's supposed to be the end of times? The end of times is that everyone's going to recognize God. Before then, people don't recognize it. Exactly. As you get older, you get smarter and more knowledgeable, you see it becomes clearer and clearer about God in the world, running the world, what's happening. Same thing with the Jewish people. You have the whole Parsha Bereshis, the story of Bereshis, from the beginning to the end. God creates the world. He creates Noah, and He creates Adam and Noah, and He creates Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they then have their children. Now they have the 12 tribes, and all of a sudden the nation becomes unfolded, and we see the tribes and what's happening. We go in the Shemos, then we get to Egypt, we leave Egypt, and we get to Torah, and we go to Israel, and the story becomes unfolds the story of the Jewish nation and its role it's going to be in the future, the Mashiach, and the temple, and all this unfolds. We begin to understand, hey, what's happening? What's it all about? We can see the greatness of God, and also we begin to know what's our function towards God. It becomes clear and clear. With these two introductions, I want to read now this story. Well, we're going to start reading. Who would like to read a little, at least the first paragraph? No? Let's hear. Yeah, the first paragraph. Let's hear. Cloud, clear voice, strong. Let's hear. Come on. A new voice. Loud. No, I don't want louder.
It is clear that every
No, louder and slower. Slow. Go ahead.
It is clear that every Torah work that has achieved the quality of timelessness has attempted to study the Torah of God.
Stop. Read it again. Make believe you're now performing as an actress, And every word has meaning, and you want to stress it and say it. Come on. Say it with meaning and feeling. Come on. And make sure you have the right word where you press the right word and just pause. Speaking also with space. Sometimes you stop for a moment, you go further. Not to read quickly, slowly. But read it well, feel good. Louder.
Yeah. It is clear that every Torah work that has achieved the quality of timelessness has attempted to study the Torah of God.
Okay, now, what does that mean? That's true. Now you have to absorb the word. It's called comprehension. The people are looking for the quality of timelessness, okay? In the study of Torah of Hashem, okay? The works.
The works which have not achieved this have all been based on some artificial human construct, some substitute for the Torah of Halakha. They have failed to elevate themselves above the artificial non-Halakha wisdom of man.
Okay, just a general thing I took out of the book. It was on one page, so we had it. This is written by my friend. Anyway. Okay, now we're getting to the story, which I really know. Now, what read?
Concerning the transporting of the Ark of God to the city of David, we find in 2 Shmuel 6:14.
Let's see, okay. Let me read, I better read it. Okay. I'm going to read. Now I want to read you the story of King David. And this is the quoting from a translation of the Tanakh. Okay? This is a translation of the Tanakh. Okay. And David leaped about before the Lord with great might. She jumps. Wow, just think of him jumping, leaping. And David was girded means he had, with a linen ephod. So David and all the house of Israel brought up the ark of the Lord with trumpet blast and with the sound of the shofar. In other words, they're carrying the ark, and David is jumping up and down. He's wearing this ephod, this linen garment, and he's jumping, and they're blowing the trumpets, It's really a beautiful scene. An exciting, vibrant, live, dynamic scene. And as the ark of the Lord came into the city of David, now it's coming, the ark, you see the procession, they're carrying the ark. Meanwhile, the ark originally was where? By the non-Jews. They captured the ark. And now we're bringing the ark back to the city of David. And David HaMelech is bringing in, they're blowing the trumpets, like bringing the Sefer Torah into the show. Just picture that. Bringing the Sefer Torah. This is 100 times greater because you're bringing the what? The ark. That's the tabernacle. And in the ark was the tabernacle. This represents our history, the Jewish people, right? And what happened? Michal, Saul's daughter, looks through the window. And what did she do? And saw King David dancing and leaping before the Lord. What did she see King David do, her husband? Jumping up and down, dancing and leaping before the Lord. Okay? Now let's think about it. How come he's jumping up and down? He's the king. It's not so nice for a king. If I ask you, what's the protocol of a king? He's happy. He sits there and he watches. Does he jump up and down? Dancing and leaping? Is it nice? In front of the people? Is it nice? Not nice. Is that the protocol of a king? That's what kings do? Kings do. Now she came from royal blood, and she despised him in her heart. She says, terrible, oh, disgusting. How do you do that? The logistics of life in here. She loved her husband, but she said, what are you doing here? It's terrible. And she keeps it in her heart. Then David returned to bless his household, and after he brought the ark from the Goyim, they played all this beautiful music and dancing and singing. Everybody's happy bringing the Sefer Torah, and this is Kal V'chomer, the ark, and the Seres HaDibros, right? He comes to the house to bless everybody. He's so happy. When a person's happy, then you bless people. And Michal, the daughter of Saul, came out to meet David and said, how glorious, she had a sharp tongue and a little sarcastic. How glorious was the king of Israel today, in that he uncovered himself today before the eyes of the handmaids of his servants, as one of the low fellows shamelessly uncovers himself. When you dance, what do you dance? So part of your body is seen. You dance, you jump up and down. So, in those days, there some part of his garments was seen, and they saw somebody was naked. Nowadays, it's not nice. It's like not missing modesty. Not only that, who is looking? Everybody's looking. The handmaids, servants. And he acted like low fellows shamelessly, uncovered, lost all the dignity of a human being, especially, and you're the king, worse than that. Not only a human being does that, but a king, how can he do that? And David said to Michal, it was before the Lord who chose me before thy father and all his house, to appoint me prince over the people of Israel, over the Lord over Israel. That's a very sharp tongue back. She said she criticized him. So what does he do? He lashes back. I was before the Lord who chose me before thy father. Was you're following certain protocol, and you but you see, you lost out and I won. Therefore my way is right. To appoint me prince over the people of Israel, of the Lord over Israel. Or the people of the Lord. They're not people of Israel or community, people of the Lord. The Jewish people are the children of God. Therefore I pray before the Lord. What was I doing? I wasn't dancing. This was a religious experience. I will yet be more lightly esteemed than this, holding myself low. So don't worry. When I have to do what I have to, I'm going to dance, I'm going to sing in front of the Almighty with all my strength. And then it says, and Michal, the daughter of Saul, had no children to the day of her death. Now what's the connection between these two statements? And it came to pass that night that the word of the Lord came to Nathan, saying, Nathan was a prophet. Now therefore, so shalt thou say to my servant David, thus says the Lord of hosts, and when thy days are complete, and thou shalt lie with thy fathers, because you're going to die, I shall set up thy seed after thee, and establish his kingdom. Now's the key word. My covenant of love shall not depart away from him, as I took it from Saul, whom I put away before thee. And thy house and thy shall be established forever before thee. Thy throne shall be firm forever. In other words, because you did this one act, and this represented who you are, and you answered back that you'll do more and more about it, and in front of God is going to give everything you have and not be ashamed, not going to hold back and worry about shame and people and what's going to be. Like King Saul, what was his problem? He was worried what people would say, other people would say, how things would be, what society says. There was a famous experiment. I think the name was Dr. Watson. He took 50 groups of 8 people. 50 groups of 8 people. They want to make a sermon. And they had on the wall 3 lines. 3 lines. 2 lines were equal. And 1 line was larger, a little larger. And they made up with 7 other people that it's only a game. And even though 1 line is larger than the other, you're going to have to say part of the game is that you're going to say that it's all equal. So 7 are playing the game, and they have advanced knowledge that there are 3 lines. 1 line is a little larger, and the other 2 are the same. And they're going to have to say what? If they want to play the game right, to get their reward, whatever they're going to give them, that is all equal. And 1 person in the 8 doesn't know the game. Now, they asked everybody. They asked first, they asked everybody along the line, and they know who it is. They asked the 8 people, but first they asked the first 7. Are the lines equal? Or 1 is larger or not, or 2 are larger? Are they equal or not equal? When we got to the 8th person, which was the one who didn't know the answer, everybody said, oh, it's equal. You're sure? 100%, I swear I did, Everybody really, everybody's enjoying the game. It's not televised. recorded and they're getting money for it. Who knows? When they got to the 8th person, guess what the 8th person said? Equal. The numbers ran maybe 20%. 80% said it was equal to the 8th person, and 20% said no, but they weren't so sure, but they said no. And only a few were sure. The person from here, they conclude, there's an experiment, okay? There's only 50 groups of people. 50 times 8. 400 people were involved in this experiment. The people bend to what? Society, friends, people. And even though they see and they know it's wrong, but somehow they don't want to be outcast from the group, from the people, what do? They bend, they lie to themselves, they fool themselves, and they make believe it's right. And there's a famous story we all know of the king, very greedy king, and he liked clothing. So they got these fellows who are crooks, and they believe he's making clothing, you know. And then the king walks naked down the street, and it's beautiful, yeah. You know, and whoever, because they said whoever doesn't see it is stupid. You know what I mean? And they can't be stupid; they have to be smart. They can't tell their friends that they don't see. Until one little kid said, "Listen, you know, the king doesn't have clothing." The next person, the stupid little kid said that the king has no clothing. Yeah, oh, terrible. Stupid little kid. The king has no clothing. Everyone knows that story. But people are influenced from society, what people say and what it is. And therefore, what happened here was, you'll see right away, she was in her box. She was tied into her script, her way, who she was and what she was. She couldn't get out of it. And not only that, she held she was right. And she's ready to criticize against government. We'll see what happened. When David danced before the ark of the Lord, he chose to strip himself of his royal image and strove for the simplicity which would allow him to honestly and truthfully stand before God. He understood that the social spiritual of the king, great and honorable as it was, might sometimes interfere with his adherence to the living God and to his truth. No, he had to be alive and real. As long as his position led him to perfection, it was, of course, justified. But as soon as it threatened to become an end in itself, the form, the position, religion becomes an end in itself, a block to striving for a pure, simple, and uninfluenced level, he did not hesitate to dispose of it. In other words, when he filled out religion, everything is just a matter of habit, force, mores, and customs. It wasn't alive and real, growing and growth. And when it came to a time of real growth, he jumped out of it because he had to express himself, his true being, his true self at a point, rather than fall in with society and the world and say, yeah, and then make believe and fool himself. However, Michal despised David when she saw this. In her eyes, he had disgraced his position and authority, since she considered the socially rooted image of the king so important that it should not be violated for any reason. She did not see the necessity to rise temporarily above formal pretense and strive for the living and productive simplicity of God. She preferred to adhere to a dead, complex, man-made social image. The difference between their faiths is clear. And Michal, the daughter of Saul, had no children to the day of her death. She did not achieve timelessness, but adhered to death even while she was living. She was bent to a form and shape of her beliefs and ideas. She couldn't move out of her box and not be alive and real. The verse does not say for as long as she lived, but rather until the day of her death, to indicate the direction in which she was headed. David, however, who succeeded in simplifying himself and thereby adhering to the living God, was told, "And thy house and thy kingdom will be established forever before thee. Thy throne shall be firm forever." He was blessed with the gift of timelessness, of life. Because he had life. He hooked into life. Religion became alive and real. It became timeless. If religion is just form and habit and shape, it's dead. But if religion is live, Shabbos is alive, Brachas are alive. Feeling is alive. Prayer is alive. Shabbos is alive. So it's alive. You're living it. And then it has real. And you go into timelessness. But if it's just forming shape and habit, it's dead. It's up to yourself to act. Doesn't mean do crazy things. It means that become alive and real. Make your religion and your prayers alive. The Hasidim, the Baal Shem Tov, he tried to make prayer alive. The Mekubalim didn't do that. Kabbalah was alive. The Breslovs tried to set a regular formal prayer to become alive like the Baal Shem Tov. They wanted to make Hisbodedus outside, full expression alive. Okay? But everybody's searching for life. Torah is life. Torah is life. Living Judaism. The question is, how do you hook into it? How do you make it alive? For yourself. This is the question. We have experiences that we experience. We try to make it alive. Shabbos. So you take what you have, don't look for new tricks and take what you have and get alive. Person's married, husband and wife, make that real. Make it have value, have meaning. If you're not married. So then, take your prayers, take whatever you have and bring it to life. Revitalize the dead one. And it's up to yourself to revitalize it and make it alive again. Two people pray, the one prays long, it's alive. You have to make it alive. Now I want to explain another concept while we're here. The Jewish people left Egypt, and as we said, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob had all these children. They grew up to a big nation. They came to Har Sinai. Har Sinai. They accepted the Torah. Now, normally, a person who converts to Judaism, we have a rule that's called what? That a ger, shin is gayer, if somebody becomes Jewish, is kilo, tino, shanola, becomes like a newborn child. Good? Become new, vibrant, alive. Another world, another space. You lose the old and you come into a new way of living. Get rid of the old habits and get into new. Now we're talking about. And therefore even a person who wasn't Jewish became Jewish, according to the Jewish law, a new person. So he can really live with his mother, his sister, brother, because like he's a new person, he has no relationship with those people at all. They're like cut off. He's like a new person, a new entity, a newborn baby. So he doesn't have a relationship with his mother, to his brother, his sister, and he can actually live with them and marry them, according to the Torah. But we say no, because how can it be that when you weren't Jewish, you weren't able to, and now you're Jewish, you can? So because of that ruling, they cannot marry their mother, their sister, their brother, etc. Okay? Now when the Jewish people got on Har Sinai, what?
According to halacha, they're not allowed?
No, they're not allowed. If they're newly born, so they should be able to be allowed. They like all the relation before, like their body disappears, all the old past disappears, and they're a new being, new person. They can really have yalla. They could really, but we say no because of this other ruling comes in place, and we say no, they can't. So halachically they cannot. Some say with the Rabbanon, the right? With the Rabbanon, you're not allowed. Okay? What?
When you come by the Tuba, it turns on.
No. It's exactly the point I want to bring out. Exactly the point. It's not so. When the Jewish people, no. When the Jewish people got at Har Sinai, and we got the Torah, and then we accepted the Torah, it entered in the fibers of our being, and we accepted Nasa v'Nishma. So we came, a person, once a Jew is always a Jew, can never change. Even they go to other religions, doesn't help. Doesn't help. Once a Jew, always a Jew. But what happened at Har Sinai? Did we become born again? No. If we were born again, then people would have to remarry again. If they had children, they would have to again have new children. We wouldn't be able to get the Yerusha, that's the inheritance of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob of Israel, because we're new people. We can't say our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, was newly born. So what did happen in Har Sinai? What happened was that we go back to, and why was the Torah forced on us to have that? In order that we should bring forth, as Jews, our inner being, who we are and what we are, our original being, what we are. And since we come from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, we have to, and we're created in the image of God, and we have certain special spiritual genes. It's our job now to reveal it and bring that into actuality, potential into actuality. So all that took place in Har Sinai was, basically, and this is written by the Shev Shemaitza, which is the Conceal. It's written by the Maral Prague, and different big rabbis say this idea. It's not I'm not making up the idea. I made up the idea. I'd be happy. I didn't make it up. Just what the books say. So therefore, at this point, what happened? This is revealed in the fibers. So now, let's now translate this. If I want you to get real, you have to get to your real inner being, who you are and what you are, your real self. Now, how do you get to your real self? Well, you have ways. You have Shabbos as a way. Learning Torah changes a person. Mitzvahs give strength. So now if you hook into that spiritual energy of Shabbos, of learning Torah, of mitzvahs, and then somehow you got to bring into your inner fiber who you are and what you are, and bring that out and enjoy it, and let it ring into your inner fiber. Get rid of certain layers in your being and let it penetrate your consciousness and your subconsciousness. Just enjoy it and let it come out, the inner part of you, and get life again. Come back to youth. Come back to who you really are, what your real being is. And you'll let religion and Torah become alive again. Become youthful again. Become excited. Become vibrant. When the Bali Tshuva boys first and we came into the world, the religious world was very against us. Why? Because a Bali Tshuva is happy, joyous, exciting. It's happening, he's smiling. And those are all religious people from they're burdensome, they're doing it by habit, the parents force them. There's a whole big world out there, and they can't go there, they can't go to the other side of the world, and want to experience the world, they just can't do it. They can't do certain things they like to do. They have to fight with the apes, the Tov, the apes are all day long. What should they not do? The Bali Tshuva doesn't have, they already made a decision. This is what I want in the whole world. This is wonderful. I'm changing, I'm growing, I'm happening, I'm alive. Smiles and faces, excitement. The from birth person, sad, grudging, why this, why that, and picking uni this, and Lashon Hara there, and Malbim Pnei Kavero there, and Medagdek here, and very Dini here, and Dini there. Everybody was nervous when the Bali Jews came. They wanted to close us down. How can we be happy in religion? How can we be vibrant and alive? We were a threat to them, big threat. But the question is, not already you're religious for many years, and you're already no longer Bali Jews. How do you get back the excitement, the vibrancy of life again? Although we're older, how do we get back there? How did from people become alive again? How do we get the dead bones alive? It's not easy. It's not a question of working hard. It's an attitude. It's taking what you have and bringing it forth. Be happy. The Hasidim are right. If the Hashem is simcha, happiness and joy. But the only thing they go to that extreme. When they have a simcha, it's whiskey. Morning after minyan is whiskey. Okay, that's not it. That's not it. But they sit and dance all day. Dancing is not it. Happiness is an eternal happiness. Is joy. It's not dancing and singing. Dancing and singing is at certain times in certain places. How do you get that happiness, the joy? And especially a world today when things are so up and down. How do you get joy to your children and happiness related to the children? How can you be smiling, enthusiastic, vibrant? Well, if we follow the advice of King David and not the advice of Michal, and hold on religion as a just a form and shape. How can I do it? How can I? You know what I mean? No. Jump out of your skin and be happy. Say, I want to be happy. I want to make religion alive. Just say that to yourself. Everybody, I want to make religion alive. I want to be alive. I want to get to a timeless God. I want to get nitzchi. I want to jump out. I want to get close to God in a positive way. It's not like the crazies get out there and do his bodas and shouting and screaming. That's not shouting and screaming. A person who can't concentrate, they shout and scream. They don't need all these things. When people meditate in these, they don't shout and scream. Everybody has to find a way. Since God created you as a human being, and your world is made for you, Bishvili Nibra, the world is created for every individual. It says in Mishnah in Sanhedrin, only for you. Forget about the rest of the world. And God makes a beautiful world for you. Everything is there for you. So how can you get the joy and happiness and the life? Doesn't mean how do I get not only happy, how do I connect really to be standing in front of Hashem? What is standing in front of Hashem? Shavisi Hashem and they do something. The first thing in the Shulchan Aruch, I'm standing in front of God. That should give happiness and joy, vibrancy in life. Not somebody's watching me, everything I do, and I can't do what I want to do. I'm being checked up, and I have this computer, and I have these things working on me, and I don't find out what I'm doing, what I'm thinking about. Not myself. That's not the way. That's not it. See, in front of God is the most vibrant life force. And the Rambam says, when a person fears God, he has a tremendous lust, more than a woman, money up there. The biggest lust in the world is to be close to God. There's no greater lust and desire. So how do you revitalize? How do you alive? Excited. That's the question. And religion gets you alive and vibrant because it's real. When you connect to the real God, it's live. Tohameh, those that taste, Shabbos will taste them. Chayim will be life. It's like ore. It's excitement. Like love. Love, excited. It's a matter if you no, it's really excited. But the mikvah, it's excited, future, happy. It's supposed to get life. So it's up to yourself to get it and to want it and to do it. And all the books will tell you how to do it. I thought this was an interesting little story of David. And now, if you think about it a little differently, a woman is usually worrying what people think, what he's going to say and she's going to say, embarrassed. You can't do this. You have to look like this. You have to be like that. There's a reason for that. Because everything has to have a place and a thing. But there's a time when a person, if you don't do it yourself, at least you can appreciate the live and vibrant. You have to become alive and vibrant. She was dead, and that's what she was dead. Yeah.
Could Michal have gotten out of the parent from her father that became so suspicious
Look,
and jealous of other people?
it's not so simple.
Is that part of her problem?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's very hard. You see, when you're locked in, it takes a big step to move out. It's not easy. I myself, I never felt until a few days ago. I have a neighbor that's calling up the city every 10 minutes. I'm doing more things, blah, blah, blah. And then he sneaks his worker down to my worker to borrow a tool. And I caught it. I said, listen. If you want a tool, talk to me straight. Don't go and send your worker down. Talk to me, I'll lend you the tool. And he ran away, and I won't ask you for nothing. Meanwhile, he said the worker. At that point, I felt, I'm not going to let him use my tool. No way. And I did. And afterwards, I felt so bad. I never in my life did anything like that. But once you get hooked into a script sometimes, it's hard to pull out. It's not so simple. It's very difficult. It's very hard. She was in the king, and she's right. She wants to be proud of her husband, and she wants to look nice and dignity. And don't forget, she felt she had the kingdom, and she had and he married her, and she elevated him to kingdom because she married into the royal family, and she's the one that's giving all the credit to him, credibility. It's like she's the rich girl, he's the poor guy she pulled in. And now he's now the king, she's a part of her marriage. And he has to act the role. He never was trained to be in the role. She was trained from youth how to act like a queen and how like the king. He's doing the wrong thing. So she criticized. She felt terrible. She loved him, and she acted like terrible. Because then she became dead, and he became alive. He lived forever. And therefore, David Amalek today, Chai V'Kaya, because he had one moment of life, and that life we know it represented. He said, I would do it more and more. And the text says, an act of love. My covenant of love. Because he did it with love and care and excitement.
It sounded like he did it to protect himself from becoming too rigid or too much.
Yeah, but no, I would say it was the situation that called for it. The situation calls for it. You come to a wedding, you sit there, I was waiting for it to dance and sing and be happy. All the old men sit in the old one. People dance and jump with them. I want to dance and jump. They enjoy dance and jump. They have an opportunity now to dance and jump. Learn the new steps that they learn. What?
Being appropriate at appropriate time.
Yeah, but it's hard to pull yourself up when you have certain rules and regulations and you know it's right to do it.
I was teaching a class yesterday at the Israel Center, and one of the women comes is almost 90.
Always what?
Almost 90 years old.
Yeah.
I teach a class at the Israel Center.
Yeah.
And so I stood up on the table, because that's what I do very often.
That's lovely.
People to look at things from another point of view. And she says, watch action here, get on the table. And I said, so tell me, Gracie, what do you do when you get down? You've been through the Holocaust, you've got your kids fighting with each other. Sean, I'll tell you exactly what I do. I walk from here, from the harbor here.
Yeah.
That's number one. And I look for the odd stones. What do you mean, Gracie, you look for the odd stones? I mean, there's 30 people in this class, and she's talking, and she's soft.
Yeah.
She's very soft.
Yeah.
She said, I look for the stones that have moss on them. I said, why is it? She says, because they have life. They have life growing around them. And it gives me life to walk past them. Blew the class away. Blew the class away.
Yeah, but I just want to add one more point. All stones breathe too, you know. You don't need the moss. I know. I know. Yeah.
And what it did is the rest of the 30 people started coming up with ways that they could see joy. This is what class is about. It's called suffering, surrender, and sympathy. And the most difficult part that I always have, is the last portion when I'm discussing sympathy. It's very easy for people to tell me about their suffering. It's very easy to tell me about their surrender and all the processes we get to. And kind of psychologically kind of wrong. When I get to simcha, I get stuck. So I started, instead of writing the word simcha, as I used to write it in Hebrew and English, I started making a duck out of yes. That already changed the whole class. The yes already became a duck with little legs and the whole thing, and it already started the class moving. Just couldn't get them to move. And what came a lot from the youngest to the older was about gratitude. Was looking to see the small, not the biggest, not what they're grateful for that's large, not the houses that they pay the rent with, but what small thing they were able to do they hadn't been able to do. And that started with it. And I'm trying to see the youngest person in the class, 17, and the oldest is Gussie, who's almost 90. And it's incredible.
But what?
It takes constant.
Yeah, but let's talk about what should be the real simcha. Who? And doing what? See, well, let's finish. Let's end the story. Let's talk about King David. What did he do? He expressed at the right
gratitude and love.
Yeah.
The Kodesh Baruch Hu for bringing the ark from one location back home.
Appreciate that. Yeah, that's that. But that most people.
It's
But most
constant
people.
on
Yeah, but
doing
most people don't have that relationship to God, and that doesn't give them simcha. They give simcha, like you said, watching the stones and the little things of life. They have that simcha there, but that's not the simcha we're talking about. You have to translate it to simcha, to God, and appreciation. What is? Not just appreciate our thank.
God is still listening to Tziyon. This woman.
I understand. I agree. I agree. I'm not arguing. Because most people cannot contact their feelings in general, and Kal V'chomer contact their feelings in relation to God and appreciation of doing their function of what they were created for, and as they're doing their proper function of their creation, of doing the will of God and enjoying the will of God.
The question is, how many people are just trying to stay out of pain?
Nothing. Called even negative energy to stay out.
Did you tell that
She could have changed, but she got locked in that script. You see. Let's say she was locked in the script, and after the prophet said what they said, and then what could she have done? Well, what does the woman do? She's locked in. What did Sarah made her do? They're locked in, no children. What Rivka did, they had no children. So try that. That's what religion tells us. A man can change anything. But when you change, you have to change yourself, you see. And change yourself is a threat. Change yourself, people don't want to change. Imagine she'll say, okay, I'll no longer be a queen, and I'll want a child. I want to be alive with God. I really want to see the greatness. What would happen then? She wouldn't be any Michal, the daughter of Saul. So she has an identity, right?
That's what she got punished because she didn't jump off the bus.
No, she didn't have to jump. She saw her husband, she criticized her. She didn't have to jump. Nobody has to jump. Nobody tells her. Yeah. No, it's not a jump. It's an attitude of understanding of life. And you got to get happiness in children. You have children, be happy with your children. That's what's important. That's making. If you have no children, not married, you have to be happy with what you have. Whatever you have to be happy with. But happy, not what you have in front of God, and appreciate God, and thank God. And serve God. What?
She should have been happy with her husband.
That's right. But she couldn't see it. This is a very serious problem. We all have this problem. It's not that we're talking about her and then we are her, and that's why David lives on. David Achai v'Kayim. We want to have that timelessness. We have the story to tell us about the secret of getting to the timeless. That's what I started with. The secret of getting to the timeless. Becoming alive and right. Getting your religion real, getting close to God in your religion. Brachas make alive, not just wrote it. You say the words. It's feeling, it's understanding, it's pictures, it's life, vibrancy. It's happening. Yes.
Because sometimes can a person maybe feel alive, and maybe it's not their reality. Maybe sometimes you get into it, you're doing a thing, and then you think, I hope it's like this is like in Hashem's picture is happening.
I agree to that. There's a denial part. There's a real part, and there's a dream part, and there's a fake out, and sure, that's the whole story. I mean, let's take this in modern terms. Let's say the newspapers got involved, and there's front pages, the New York, the Daily News, or the Yediz Achronot, Mari, and all this gossip they have now. The Bibi Netanyahu, or the President of Israel, dances, you know what I mean? And they catch him seen jumping up with his clothing off half the way. I mean, people, they laugh at him, right? That's what happens. I mean, and the newspaper talk, oh, what did he do? Where is he? Where's his? And they criticize him, right? Where's his respect for the government and his position? And we're paying, and why did he do it? There's not going to be just simple that he did it, and everybody says, yeah. There's criticism, and the world criticizes everything you've done. But he has to go beyond and know that this is it. And the main thing I was trying to explain is you have to go beyond people and forces, because people are a social being. I explained it, and people will follow the crowd, and even though they know it's wrong and they want to express themselves. I want to tell you one little story. I finished. There's a man came Vilnai, the guy. Vilnai, his son is one of the members of the army. Vilnai, and his father was the guide. He wrote all these books about Israel. And a month before he died, he calls me in. He said, Rabbi Goldstein, I want to do tshuva. I believe in God, I want to do it. But people laugh at me. All my life I fought against religion. I talk bad about religion. How can I go now and become religious? And I said, the same thing that Benjamin Franklin said in his last years. Benjamin Franklin, the Rabbi said he wanted to be religious. He said, how can I be religious now? I criticize all of my religion. How people laugh at me, what's going to be? People say, you're going crazy all of a sudden? Huh? So therefore, because of that, Mordechai did not really go to church at the end. And Bill Nye at the end couldn't do what he wanted to do. Because there's certain limits that a person's afraid to do. Because pressure, so parents, social pressure, it works both ways, all ways. Or yourself. You want to keep your habits, or you're afraid to change or to move. And religion is a very vibrant, live thing. It gives life, and it's real. It's supposed to be. But most religion is customs, mores, habits, and religious customs. It's not a real thing. You have to make your life real. If you're already doing it, might as well make it. Okay, Joseph, I gotta run this. Let's have one of these back. What?